wanted. Miracles mandatory. Peanuts for pay. You've seen those job ads. Grow your Instagram, triple your LinkedIn, run the ads, write the content, reply to everything. All for less than a mobile dog groomer. If you're a founder, a school, a charity, or the only marketing person in your organization, and you're secretly drowning in be on all channels energy, this one's for you. Today in my kitchen, we're asking, how can you make your marketing pop with a limited budget? Let's get into it. Welcome back to In My Kitchen. I'm Yvonne Beluma-Samba, the founder of Lockeries and Lockeries Match. We help schools name their one big change and find the right people and products to move it forward. But this show isn't a pitch because every week we turn this into very real kitchen conversations in my space for open conversations about building businesses in a cost of living crisis, being parents and partners where we build and trying to grow without burning out. No studio, no glossy setup, just a kettle, a table, and guests I actually want in my life. If it wouldn't make sense in a real kitchen, then we don't do it here. And today we're bringing that energy to something that stresses nearly everyone I speak to: marketing. I'm joined today by somebody whose posts I screenshot and send into my WhatsApp groups, Sue Fisher. Sue is a marketing leader who has worked across education, professional training, medical, dental, fashion, and publishing. She heads up marketing and comms and runs LostAtSea Marketing, where she helps organizations turn "we should post more" into something that actually moves the needle. And she's also the person who took apart a now famous job and asking one part-time social media person to do 5 jobs less than a dog groomer. So welcome to my kitchen.
Hi, really happy to be here.
Glad to have you. I want to start there, Sue, because that post was the one where I said, no, I need this woman in my kitchen. Tell us the story behind that job.
Oh, I feel a bit bad for them, but I saw this post, and you know the kind of post you think these people have sat around and had an important meeting, and you can always tell if marketing comes out of some kind of stressed meeting where everything's urgent and suddenly everything's marketing and there's a solution: Instagram. I mean, the job is insane. It listed strategy, content analytics, community management, ads reporting, growth, all rolled into one role. I think it was 1 day a week, really low pay. And I've seen these kind of iterations in commission only. And it just, I mean, you're not hiring marketing at that point. You're hiring hope or hiring panic. And it's not even the workload that stands out with this. It's how everything's framed. So everything's about numbers. So get more followers, increase your reach, boost that engagement. But there's absolutely nothing about who you're trying to talk to, who you're trying to reach, why these people care. And I mean, to them, success basically is more. It's like Oliver Twist. Please, sir, can I have some more? And that's vanity metrics. That's not customers.
Well, when I read it, my first reaction was, this is every founder brief I've ever seen. And unfortunately, I have fallen into that trap myself. Oh,
Oh, I feel like I might have just lost Yvonne. Everyone, I think you're muted.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to work with my laptop. My computer's not, the Ethernet cable has disconnected and I can't seem to get it to work. I've been trying since morning and I'm trying my laptop, but it doesn't have a lot of power, unfortunately. So I never use my laptop for anything apart from checking emails. So I don't know if it's going to work. Do we give it one more go? And if it keeps refreshing, maybe we reschedule? What do you think? Yeah, are you okay with that?
That's
Yeah.
fine.
I'm so sorry about
No, don't worry at all.
Okay, so we'll take it from there. Your bit worked. I think it was just my bit where it broke off. Yeah, so let's take it from there if it's okay. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. So when I read this, and when I saw your post, I have to admit my first reaction was, this sounds like every founder brief that I've ever seen. And I have to be honest and say, including some of mine in the past. So, in your opinion, what do you think a job ad like that really says about how we treat marketing in small organizations?
I think a job ad like that, it doesn't understand what marketing is. So the really big thing is there is such a confusion between marketing, advertising, and sales, and they are not the same thing. So marketing does the thinking. It's, what problem do you solve? What are your customers' pain points? How do you solve them? What you stand for, and why anyone should actually care. Now, advertising is the amplification of your messaging. Sales is the conversion. So they are related, but they're not the same thing. And I think if you don't understand that, it's just, you might as well throw spaghetti at the wall and hope it sticks. It's not going to work. And that job ad, it just skipped the thinking. It just went into, please make the money happen. And if you wouldn't hire a part-time finance director on commission and say, make the numbers nice, you wouldn't hire a marketing professional on these. It's just not going to work. It's the same with a plumber. You wouldn't hire a plumber and say, okay, we'll pay you if you stop half the leak. It's just... And I don't think it's people's fault, but people just don't really understand the differences between the roles because they are different.
That's so true. And a lot of the times it's also firefighting as well, isn't it? So if you're a founder, for example, you want to get your message out there, but you also want to go to market, and you also want to you want to stand out, and you also want to get revenue, and you also want to be profitable, right? So you're thinking all these different things that I have to do. And a lot of the times founders are technical at what they do. They're really, really brilliant at the thing that, they saw there was a problem and they have a proposed solution. That's very, very different from the business side of things, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this is where I believe you will really help to set us straight. So I know there are people watching who are on both sides of this. Some people wrote in and they said, yeah, we've written that kind of brief. And some people are the person that expected to deliver that brief. So if somebody is thinking, okay, this is uncomfortably familiar, what's the first question that they should ask about their marketing setup?
Well, I think they need to have some kind of strategy. And the first question isn't, can we afford a strategy? Because, and I'm going to be honest here, it's not cheap. A proper strategy isn't cheap. If you're doing it well, you're looking for somewhere between £3,000 to £5,000. And that's not because it's particularly fancy. If it's 50 pages of a document, then actually that's not particularly helpful because you need something that shows you the thinking. But the strategy is the thinking time. And if someone's sitting with your business long enough to understand who you're actually for, what problem you solve, what not to do, and what success should look like, and that thinking will define the direction. It stops reacting, it stops flailing, and it stops people changing their mind every 6 weeks because someone on LinkedIn said something with all the confidence of someone particularly mediocre. But strategy is important, but it costs money. But I mean, just because you can't afford a full strategy doesn't mean you should skip the thinking. And I think that's the really big problem. So if you're at a stage where money is an issue, at the minimum, you need to be able to answer these really confidently. 3 things. So 1, who are we talking to? 2, why would they care? 3, how do we measure success? because if you can't answer those, you're not saving money. You are basically spending it messily. Busy doesn't mean effective. It's basically panic with a Canva subscription. It's not going to work. Those 3 questions, that's it, and that's quite simple.
Oh, wow. Already dropping in some nuggets of wisdom, Sue. Thank you for that. Right. So who are we? What were those questions? 3 questions.
So, who are we talking to? Why do they care? And how do you measure your success? That's
and how do you measure your success?
You need to know.
Right? So you need to know your audience, right? Because a lot of the times, even when you're a business, you might have more than one audience because you have more than one product or more than one offering.
Exactly.
I think I listened to somebody saying was it last week on this webinar where we had Becky, and she said solve one problem for one audience with one solution, and then you're throwing in saying how will we know the numbers, right? So now you need to think about all that, but as Sue says, it's not cheap because somebody really has to get a deep dive into the business to understand what you're doing. So once you've done this, once you've asked yourself this, this really important question, what's the next thing? How do you know you're moving in the right direction?
I think because with the strategy, you understand why you're doing what you're doing. That's the thing. So you have this sort of overarching theme. You know exactly who you're talking to, and you can have more than one audience, and your plan can show that. But you're not then going, oh my God, what do I say? You've got something that's driving you. You kind of know the direction of travel, because when things go wrong, it's, without a strategy, you can know this. At some point, it's worth investing in it. But if you've got those 3 questions answered, you understand why you're saying what you're saying. You understand your messaging, and it keeps you consistent rather than sort of sounding a bit schizophrenic, like there's sort of one thing happening here, one happening here. That is the overall arcing theme.
Yeah. And that's really powerful, being able to actually put your finger on this is the pulse that we need to look at. So one line from your post that really struck me was this: 5,000 unbothered followers won't raise awareness or drive donations. 300 loyal invested people might. Let's talk about that. For a founder who's been told you just need more followers, what's the real difference between follower count and real community?
Oh gosh, that's a good one. Well, I mean, big numbers look great. They look really impressive. They photograph well. But I mean, we've all seen accounts with thousands of followers who couldn't fill a room or get no engagement. And there's accounts with a few hundred followers who could say sell out events or change behavior. And the thing is, marketing isn't about just being seen, it's about being relevant, and that's the really, really key difference. So if you've got 300 people who consistently engage, reply, click, show up, talk to you, that is so much more valuable than thousands of people who followed you once, forgot why, and don't even know who you are. I mean, ghost followers, they don't buy, they haunt, essentially.
I love that. They don't buy the horns. So big numbers, what we're saying, that's just social proof. It doesn't translate. What we want is numbers that translate. So they might look small, but they translate. What makes them regularly engage? What makes, your 300 people? Because there are people with small numbers where they don't engage at all either.
And that's true. And I think it really goes into what social media is, because people get this wrong, and the clue is in the name. Social. It's not sales, it is social media. So, I mean, the mistake a lot of people, they treat social media like they're standing on a platform going, buy my stuff. I mean, can you imagine what people would do if you walked into a room and someone shouted that at you? They'd leave. They certainly wouldn't be engaging, talking to you, and social is where people decide if they trust you. Sales can come from that, but I mean, don't talk like a leaflet. If your post reads like a pop-up ad, expect that people are going to basically click close.
Something I heard really recently is a lot of people don't realize social is a long-term game because we've been conditioned by all this virality. And you go into some people's posts and they put all this funny stuff, and and people go like, oh my God, that person's really popular because it's always funny. Where is the fine line between you have a lot of people who love what you do and you have people who engage and actually will purchase when you go in and ask for a sale?
ask for a sale. Well, I
Yeah.
think it's bearing in mind really that not everyone's ready to buy. So there's the 80-20 rule in marketing, is that 80% of people aren't ready to buy yet. So it's that there's only a short time where they're there. So that kind of awareness, that engagement, them talking to you, you are top of their mind when they're ready to buy. But you cannot force someone to be at a different stage of that funnel than they are. So it's really understanding that what you're kind of doing is you're building up that trust, that credibility, that knowledge, that who you are, so that when those people are in a purchasing position, you are top of their mind. And that really matters. And that doesn't mean that if you get a sales post and no one buys your stuff that you failed. It might mean the audience aren't at that level yet. And that will take time. Sometimes it will take time for you to build the trust. Sometimes it will take time for other people's budgets. There's a lot of things going on with that. So it's not necessarily failure. And I spoke to somebody the other day who was sort of talking about LinkedIn, saying, "Oh, I'm really sick of it. I just posted the other day and, my sales post got, I think, 200 impressions." And I kind of want to flip the switch with that. And I said, well, if you were standing in a room and 200 people were interested in what you're selling, would you be feeling bad about yourself? Because just because they're not ready to buy yet, they're still interested in what you've got there. It is part of that journey. It's not quick. It's not instant. It's, unless you're saying I'm selling a kind of £1 badge or something, click here to buy now. It's a much longer journey. It's a funnel.
And even that £1 badge, it also depends very much on who and when, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's say somebody is watching and they're thinking, I'm a small charity, or I'm a school, or I'm a bootstrap founder, and I've got, I don't know, say 430 followers on LinkedIn or Instagram. And they're thinking to themselves, if I'm honest, I'm a bit embarrassed by that number. So what I tend to do is chase more and more and more. What should they be looking for instead?
I mean, to be honest, I think the big thing is stop trying to feel that that's not impressive. Stop measuring yourself against other people, because, it's not about the numbers. And most organizations actually just need to really have a bit more focus. So have 1 or 2 channels where your people are, choose a couple of core problems, core themes for the month, a proper piece of thinking, and then reuse that there. So you don't need to be in every single place. You don't need to say, right, I'm on X, I'm on Facebook, TikTok, all of these ones because I think I should be. Say, right, I'm going to do 2 of these, for example, really, really well. And each week be clear on the thing you want them to do. So marketing needs to lead somewhere. So it can be social to email, email to website, website to action. You don't be floating around, have an actual funnel, but understand nurture. It will take time, and that's okay.
And take time to also know yourself, isn't it? Know yourself as a business, know your audience. Almost like, I think the first week of January, we talked about being kind to yourself. That sounds kind of like the theme in running a business. So if we could reframe it like this, don't ask how many people surveyed, how many people really cared enough to act. Would that be more of an accurate consideration when somebody's doing socials or just marketing in general?
I think so, but I think with social and with marketing, you do need some kind of structure and some kind of theme. So, I mean, I'm a bit of a weirdo in this way. I love LinkedIn. I genuinely get joy out of content. I know so many people are like, I hate it, but no, I really enjoy it. But I have, part of what helps me is I have a schedule. And that's not because I'm like, ooh, give me a spreadsheet, they're wonderful, but it forces that intent. So I know what I'm doing. So every Monday I like to talk about social media. And I don't know if you ever read that, but there's this awareness calendar that's got the most ridiculous days. I'm pretty sure it's Penguin Awareness Day today. It's like we're not all aware of penguins already. But, great branding if you're a penguin. But it's unhinged. I love it. But there's also some use to that too.
I'm just thinking about, what do you post on Penguin Awareness Day? Black and white?
Well, I mean, honestly, if you were doing it strategically, probably nothing. Unless there happens to be some, if you're conservation or if you want to be funny or if you're selling tuxedos. I mean, I find penguins quite hilarious, but that might just be me. You know what I mean? So that kind of makes sense. But then for me, I'll go Tuesday. Like today, I talk about something that matters to me. So I had a big post today about how the motherhood penalty only applies to women, because there's one baby who's keeping two parents awake in most of the situations, but it's only the female partner that's getting penalised by going, oh, you're not committed enough, you're too tired. Whereas, you know, men's career opportunities change. I write that for a reason. I don't just have a Tuesday rant. The reason for that is that I know what kind of customer I want. So I'm very aware of the fact that people I want to work with care about women. They care about the fact that women's health issues are neglected. You know, female founders I've worked with and I love them. They're energizing. But people that don't kind of go, oh yeah, you know, women just choose the wrong jobs. Those are not my people. I don't want to work with them, and I'm quite happy to repel them. So again, there's that purpose. And on Wednesdays, I will always talk about marketing, and that's where I try and be funny, mostly because I want people that don't mind having a joke. I want some fun with that, and I'm not ashamed of that, so I'll kind of weave that in. Thursday is a complete wild card for me, so I can talk about the news, I can talk about anything that's happened, I can just create for the fun of it. And then every Friday, I tell a story, which is one of my lowest performing pieces, which this is a really good point. So my stories, my posts get probably between sort of 2 to 5k impressions, most of them. My stories get around 500. So I write this little story of two marketers. One's called Chloe, who's zany and crazy and carries a rubber chicken around. And one's called Nancy, and she loves her clipboard and very analytical. And they go in solving problems, quite often inspired by friends' ridiculous stories they'll tell me. But this one, as it gets maybe between 2 and 500 every time, so it's not a big hitter. I've got 3 clients from this little story. So
Yeah.
vanity metrics, it's those little things. It's people seeing you again and again, and that does matter. And you know, again, I want to reframe that with, okay, some of my posts have got 200,000. The ones that have won me business have got 300. So please don't focus on the numbers too much. The numbers don't matter.
That says a lot, isn't it? So it's time for us to give a little mini homework for our viewers. Can't shake it off once a teacher. So if you're watching this, a little tiny homework for when this finishes. Open your last post or email. Ignore the reach for a second, just like Sue said, and count comments, replies, links, clicks, saves, and shares. That number, that's your real people, and that's where you start. And something else that Sue has said so beautifully and so elegantly, you know, have a sort of like a theme. I think that does one of two things. It makes it a little bit easier for you to post. So if you know Monday I do this, Tuesday I do this, Wednesday I do this, but it also helps when doing things like your calendar and planning. And then, like anything, when you automate it, even just the thought of automating, you're more likely to do it. So yeah, really, really beautiful. Okay, so let's move into our third section. So in this section, we're going to look at building a real marketing engine with tiny capacity. And I know this is the one that most of you will really, really be wanting to hear. So most people watching this don't have a marketing department. They have one tired human, most likely a tired human whose baby has been crying the whole night, and then they then have to do the rest in the morning. And sometimes that human is also the founder. So let's build something honest. If you were dropped into a small purpose-led organization tomorrow, one marketer, one limited budget, how would you?
I'm so sorry I didn't get any of that question.
If you were dropped into a small purpose-led organization tomorrow, like boom, hey Sue, we need your help. We're tiny, we're purpose-driven, and you're the one marketer in a very limited budget. How would you turn that very, very quick chaos into a simple weekly marketing engine?
Into a simple weekly engine, I think, well, number one, really understand who they're talking to. So I talk to a lot of people about content pillars, and it sounds a bit pretentious, but it's really not. It's just understanding the things you're going to talk about and why they matter. So keeping that content focused. So I would say to them, what we need is an overall plan of what we're talking about, when and why, and how this affects the customers. A lot of people make the mistake of creating content or creating marketing that speaks to them rather than their customers. And it's so important to keep the customers absolutely central to everything. So the customers are the most important thing. So every piece of content needs to be speaking to them. It matters. And I think a lot of brands can fall into affirmative content. The whole, oh, I'm thrilled to announce, delighted to share. I mean, everyone's thrilled, everyone's amazing. No one's ever had a bad day. But I mean, no one cares. So, if your content isn't kind of raising an eyebrow, or it's probably not doing much work. So really, if it was a few things, it was understand, and it was going back to my 3 things, understand who you're talking to. So understand who you're talking to and why should they care, and build your content around that. And you don't have to post every day. I would say build your content. So you say, we've got these core themes. Let's say they are communication or working in a school, for example. It could be achievement. These could be 2 of your pillars. We're going to focus on these. This one pillar, communication, we're going to write a blog, which will then lead into a LinkedIn post that will then create a video, which will then create an email newsletter out of. We'll create all of these bits of content. And that's not a bad thing. That's using your content more. That's using your content cleverly, because it's the same message. You're hitting that message over and over again. And I think a lot of people, particularly in small organizations, feel like they have to be churning out loads and loads and loads. Not everyone's going to see every piece of content you create. So as long as your message is consistent, that's what matters. It's the overarching message that will keep you on track.
Beautiful. And don't forget something really important that Sue mentioned there. Choose just 1 or 2 channels that you focus on, so that you're not running around creating more chaos because you're trying to be one thing for everybody. So that's really, really great. So I love that, because that's basically what we kind of try to do with the In My Kitchen. We have honest conversations, and then from this, we then do the YouTube episodes. From the YouTube episodes, we have a Monday post that I normally put on my LinkedIn to tell people about the YouTube episode, so that people then go to the YouTube episode. And slowly by slowly, it's about just patience and building that. So we're just seeing our numbers slowly creeping, because we've just been doing this since May. Totally new, never done YouTube before, but getting brilliant guests like you, Sue, to come and talk to everybody, and then giving you an opportunity for people to also know about you and what you have on offer. So, that's kind of like the kind of thing, and then we just reuse them. So we will start doing little shorts and, that kind of thing. We're not trying to invent 10 different things, 10 different brands every day.
And that's so important, because, we're founders who's got the time.
Different brands every day.
And that's so important, because, we're founders who's got the time. You'll burn yourself out if you're trying to create, one piece of content used well can be so valuable for you. It doesn't, it could be a quote, for example, or say a video. There's so many ways you can use that. You don't have to burn yourself out. And I think a lot of people feel like they're not working hard enough if they're reusing, but no, it's the other way around. Strategically, use it carefully. Although the word strategy has become so overused in marketing, I'm almost scared to say it now, because the number of the times I'll see strategy incorrectly used, it's like, no.
Marketing strategy when somebody's talking about posting.
And you say this. I saw a blog recently from a marketer on LinkedIn saying, a B2B marketing strategy is LinkedIn posting. It's like, no, that is a tool, and you sound like a tool by saying this, by the way. And I've just been in webinars where I've heard someone really confidently tell me they've got this fantastic marketing strategy of speaking to someone and finding out what's happening and then doing the activities. So, yeah, that's coordination. That's not a strategy. And it doesn't help all the founders. I think this is the other problem with strategy. There is so much misunderstanding about, and it's not complicated. It's really not. It's like it's like a journey map.
It is, exactly.
Sorry, I ranted there.
No, it's okay. I love it. I love the fact that you say it's a tool and you look like a tool. So.
Oh God, I think I watched this.
Should I keep it? Okay, a little micro teach from that. A little small team rule that Sue has given us, and you have to follow it. Otherwise, Sue will be coming after you. It's better to show up deep in one place than to show up thin in 5. So just remember that. If nothing else, just remember that. Better to show up deep in one then film in 5 different places. Write it on a post-it note and stick it in front of your computer for the next time you are tempted to copy everything that everybody's posting everywhere, and you're feeling like you're being left behind by it.
And don't use ChatGPT to write your posts will be my other one there, because you will just sound like a sentient filing cabinet. It's fine to use it to spell. I use it for spelling and grammar because mine is appalling sometimes, and it's brilliant to dictate your work and then get it to put in sentences, but never just post a chat, because everyone knows.
Yeah. Everybody can sense when it is, isn't it? But it's a bit of a controversial one, I have to say, with that one. So there's some big marketing names that say you can train it to talk in your voice, and there's some other people that say you cannot.
I mean, it's still a robot. Yeah. People miss out on the fact that there is only one you. We talk about B2B and B2C marketing like they're massive different, but they're not. People buy from people. And if you're a founder, your voice, what you care about, who you are matters. And it's sort of what I touched upon before, talking of the kind of founder, the passion and things. There's only one you. And it's why I use my talking about women and motherhood penalty, because there's only one me. Yeah. What you stand for, what your values are, who you are. Because let's be honest, there are other people offering what most of us do. It's very rare to find someone who is offering the absolute unique thing in the world that can never be found anywhere else. So what makes it unique, what attracts people, is the core of who you are and your values. So don't dilute them by letting chat just spit out the nonsense, because it won't work.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it? Even if you think about big brands like Apple, for example, they sell phones, don't they? But there are other companies that sell phones as well. But there's the one thing they do that's just about them, that then creates loyal followers, and then they then translate that into their messaging. And you can see it throughout everything that they do. You can see their hand in everything.
Exactly. You don't need an Apple team to sort of have that, I say authenticity. It should almost be banned. It's been so overused, the word. But you don't need a team of people to be authentically you. You are the only you there is. So lean into that. That's okay. Be you. And part of my USP is, honestly, I'm a bit of a fool sometimes. And that's okay, because some customers love it.
Exactly. Your people will find you where you are, right?
Yeah.
So that's brilliant. Okay. So section 4, before we go into the fun section, we're going to be talking about hiring and respecting the humans doing the work. So this is a powerful one. So I want to come back to hiring, because some of the people who will be watching this.
Sorry, Yvonne, give me 2 seconds.
No worries.
You monster. Okay, you have things to say.
Oh my God, why didn't you lead with her? We'd have gone so many views.
He has things to say.
Look at those eyes. Oh my God. What's his name?
Lyra.
Oh my God. Is that Lyra? Oh, I forgot. I have met Lyra before.
You have? Yeah, she's a big poser.
My God, she is gorgeous. How old is she again?
7 months. It's ridiculous.
No.
I know.
Oh my God, she's got very, very quickly. She's beautiful. Okay, Lyra, now that you're joining the conversation, you're the little human answering this. Exactly. Keep that smile, because you're going to be answering this one. So we're going to be talking about hiring and respecting the humans doing the work. So I want to come back to hiring, because some of the people watching will be thinking about either hiring a social media manager or hiring a social media manager. Yes, they will. You're going to be doing it as well this year.
Oh, if I could train you to do it, wouldn't it be great?
I know. You can do like baby podcast with Lyra. She'd do great.
Extra dribble.
Yeah. If I say to you, Sue, write me a healthy brief for a small organization marketing role, what would you say has to be included in that brief?
So I think with the brief, understanding really what it is that you want. So what do you need? What is the gap in your market? So it cannot be just, okay, we're doing analytics, social media. What's the most important thing? Where are your customers? What are their pain points? How are you solving them? Where is the gap in your messaging or your strategy? What is it you need the help with? Because if you focus, that's when you'll get the best results. And I think it's really important to kind of maybe even before you do that hire, I've done that little, not a full strategy, but if you do like that mini strategy, so you understand all of that work. Oh dear, sorry. So you understand exactly what's going on. You understand who you want to be, who you're looking for, and how you want to be attracting them.
So make it really simple, make it really clear. Another thing that we've been looking at in 2026, actually, the very, very first post of 2026, we talked about cutting back on everything and just having one clear focus. And a lot of what we talk about in LostAtSea, a lot of what we talk about in our post is that one big change. So what you're saying is have your one big focus, have your one big focus of the audience, and be really clear. And then
for a unicorn, I think, as well, because in marketing, too many people don't really understand that it's actually quite different things. So someone doing SEO won't necessarily be an expert in PPC and understand what you need.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's, SEO is not going to be instant results, for example. So that's normal. That's good.
Yeah. Have one clear focus, and that will help you to attract the one person that you need. So if you know, I want to grow my numbers on social, for example, then I want a social media manager. If you want to grow your blog posts, then so just understand that marketing has a lot of different elements to it, and being really super clear on that, and then focus on just giving that person the core responsibility around that. Don't try and feel everything, because now you've got your one focus.
And I think if you're founders and things, the one thing I'd possibly recommend is looking at kind of having, say, a fractional person to do a day a month. So I work with an amazing company, and I just do one day a month with them, which is the kind of fractional strategic overview. This is our master, this is the messaging there. And they've got a fantastic marketing assistant who then does the execution. And I think she works 3 days a week. So there's ways to do that. If you kind of say, right, I can't afford the senior level this, but there's no point, having a marketing director post on, Instagram or mess around with some Canva templates. So you can find ways of doing that. And it's actually quite good, fractional roles or part-time roles are really in demand. There's a lot of people who are looking for those. So it's not a bad thing. And then it gets you more expertise, as long as you kind of make sure the brief is handled correctly and you understand, again, how you're measuring success. Because that's where a lot of people fall down. They'll sort of have these job roles, but they're like, well, what are we measuring this on? What matters?
Yeah, actually, that's a really important one. We're still sometimes struggling with that, and it's those metrics, all the activity that you're doing. Can you look back at the end of the week and look at those metrics and then say, okay, this post is engaging, this post is not. Maybe we need to do more of this. Like you said quite clearly, my Friday post might not get really high engagement, but those are the ones that and it's well known in socials, isn't it? Friday, a lot of people don't normally engage, but the ones that do really, really, really want, they want to know.
And I think it's also understanding the purpose too. So that because my Friday's a story, it's supposed to be funny. It's partly something I do for the joy of writing. But I mean, that it's a bit of my USP. I like telling stories, and that's something kind of quite different. And again, I'm not pretending I'm the only person that can do what I do, because that would be nonsense. Of course others do, but that's one of the things that sets me apart, and that it does matter to try and do that.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And just know,
babies feeding.
It's okay. I think that's the thing about being in my kitchen, isn't it? It's about authentic conversation. So no worries about that. Now, one of the things then to do for everybody watching, once this is the role we want, because we want to focus on this, these are the core responsibilities we want from this person. This will be the KPIs that we will use to measure. And just a little budget, a budget for the tools that you use, or visuals or ads, or an explicit agreement if it's an organic only post, what your expectations are. Once you know that, then you're ready, as Sue says, to go ahead and post. And sometimes you do need to be honest with yourself as well. Know your limits. If you know that your marketing is not your element, or you don't understand marketing, as Sue said, maybe get somebody who's fractional. If you're listening, there's a really nice website I discovered towards the tail end of last year called Connected. So Connected is CONNE, CONND, Connected. I think you remove the E at the end, and you can find a lot of fractional people.
Or
on
even on LinkedIn. I mean, there's so many of us there as well on there. So, and that's quite nice because you get an idea of who people are, which is again coming into my whole, this is why it matters to post your more personal ones, because, you know, I've worked with another company and we were looking for a fractional COO. And we went through a few on LinkedIn, and there was just one that stood out going, yeah, I can see their ethos will work with how this company wants to work. Yeah.
How do you search? Do you just do a search like fractional, and then you put the position that you're looking for?
So we normally be in people's job roles there. So you can just do a search. Or, I mean, if you're very brave, put a LinkedIn post saying, can you recommend a fractional COO, whatever you're looking for? And then you'll probably get about 100 recommendations.
Yeah, and put on your networks, isn't it? Put on your networks. Somebody probably knows somebody.
And it's nice to be recommended, because I don't think I've ever been recommended anyone that wasn't good.
That is true. Yeah, people wouldn't normally recommend somebody that they don't believe in, isn't it? So somebody that comes recommended, you know, it's a good place to start. They've already done some of your DD for you. Okay.
You know, sometimes people can get so sort of worried about having the senior thinking, but if you have that senior thinking, even if it's at, you know, a fractional level, it will. I think of it like a kind of ship. It will just steer your ship in the right direction. You've got another marketing person there, so doing all the kind of actual, kind of making sure the engine's still running, but the direction has been set. And that thing kind of suddenly kind of changing a direction mid-course is a lot more difficult. So it's always worth even just having, okay, I'll have a day or a power hour with someone to just understand that. It really will probably save money long term.
Yeah, and help you, and you know, steer your ship, as Sue says, in the direction that you want it to go. And for the marketer that's watching this and thinking, it all sounds very lovely. My reality is not at all this way. What's one permission or boundary that you'd love to give them?
The marketer, I think it's okay to say no. And I think, you know, there are unrealistic expectations, and I'm going to hold my hands up. I'm a bit of a people pleaser. So it's been quite a change, actually, being able to say no. And this is going to sound awful, but I had a meeting a little while ago. I've worked in dental for a long while. So I've met this dental client, and they sort of said to me, oh, you know, hi, you know, so we really like what you're doing. So what we're doing is we've just set up our Instagram. What we want to do is we want to have, like, you know, 5 clients a week coming from Instagram into our dental studio. And I was like, well, I want to have Kylie Minogue's bum. It's never going to happen either. I probably should think of something a bit more professional to say to that. I don't think I actually said that, but that's what's in my head. It's like, how many people have you chosen your dentist from Instagram? Because I haven't. Have you chosen your hairdresser from Instagram? Because I haven't. You know, it might be part of the conversation, but that is not where it's coming from. And I think as marketers, sometimes we have to be okay with saying that's not realistic, and we're not doing you any favors by pretending it is. So if you're watching as a marketer, I think it's okay, since you know what, no, that is the wrong approach. What you can do and what I recommend is this, but you know, I've got pretty comfortable now of saying no to people and saying, actually, not only is this not going to work, it's the wrong approach for you. And I don't know, maybe it's a degree of luck because I've been doing it a long while, and it's a position of privilege, because I am really aware that for some people, last year was a terrible year to be a freelancer, and I'm lucky that I've got some really good clients, great retainers. So I was a bit, I do say this, understanding there's a degree of privilege here, but I think as a marketer, if a client's got a brief that you know is not going to work, it's not kindness to try and play along with it. You have to be honest, because it's no one wins.
Yeah. And so would you say, like, the more you're honest with people, because in that case it's almost like you're giving free consultancy, right? Not free, but you know, it's consultancy. You know, they see somebody who's got expertise and they're saying, I just don't see, I don't see how that would work, or that's not my that's not really my forte. You kind of like garner some respect from people from taking that approach.
I think definitely. I've actually had clients come to me like doing it that when I've said, look, this isn't, no, I can't take this on. The reason being, I don't think this is going to do very well for you. I think you're going to waste your money this way. And I had one where, again, it was a health client who sort of wanted to spend a fortune on PPC. So this is not going to work. This is not where your customers are coming from. This is the approach you should do. And, you know, I did a little bit of consultancy with them, and I recommended someone else who's working on Nurture Series, because I'm friends with lots of marketers. So if I haven't got the time to take on the work, I've normally got someone I can recommend.
So to everybody watching, and if you're the person who's doing everything, you're not failing. So just take a step back and just like Sue just said, just take it back to, peel it back to simplicity, right? Who are you serving? What are you serving, them for, and speak to them. Yeah. Don't speak about your problems, or, speak about you and all your lovely accolades, leave that aside and think about your main customer and start thinking numbers, right?
And can I say as well, if there are any marketers out there who've had a terrible year, it is not you. It's been a terrible year for so many talented people. So I really hope everyone's out there feeling really good about themselves. But if you're not, like, please don't think you're a failure, because there are so many incredible people. 2025 was tough. It's no reflection. If your business took a while to go, it's no reflection. And actually, even in marketing, if we get the messaging wrong sometimes, that's okay. We're not always perfect. What matters is that you look at what's happening and you change things as go along. It's okay to make those changes if something isn't landing correctly. If a campaign's going wrong, that's okay. It's fixable. It's not a personal failure. So please don't think that, if anyone is.
And I hope that's given somebody, the kind of like confidence to think, oh, okay, I can start again, or I can do this. Okay, so Sue, let's get to that fun part that we mentioned, and it's the bit where we get to know you a bit better. And Lyra, you can jump into this one too. It's a rapid fire session. So before we land with our one big change, we always do this one in the kitchen, where we get to know you as a guest and we ask you a very, very quick question. And we have just one rule in my kitchen: you are not allowed to think.
Oh gosh.
This is the first thing that comes to mind when asking the question. So are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. Lyra, are you ready? Oh my God, yes, she is. Yeah, we can see that smile. See, she is. Okay, so this is a nice, easy one. Lyra, you can take this. You can tell Mom. Tea or coffee or something stronger when
Coffee.
you're deep in a project. I didn't even finish it.
Always. I'm an addict.
Very fast thinking on that. Coffee. Move on. Okay, first job you ever had and what it taught you about people.
Oh, first job I ever had was a paper round. And it taught me never stick your fingers through the letterbox because the dog will bite you.
That's a good lesson. That's good. Although if you're slipping it through our letterbox, Toto will probably lick your hand to death. I had somebody come to visit the house. Oh, if you've got a pet, I should just let you know I'm allergic to saliva. I said, oh, that's a new one. Okay, so one marketing myth you wish we could ban forever.
Marketing isn't sales.
A book, a podcast, or an account you think every founder should follow in 2026.
Oh, goodness. I'm out to a fiction book.
Oh, yeah.
Everything is illuminated. Oh gosh, Jonathan Crow something. It is like one of the best books ever. Everyone should read it. I've like forgotten the author's name.
Lyra, what was that? Lyra knew it. She's like, she answered. She's like,
Yeah. It's such a good book. It's just like, oh, I love reading. It's like my kind of turn off place. I love it.
And Lyra said her too. So your favorite kind of client to work with in one sentence? Yes.
Founders that just are passionate founders that want to change the world.
Passionate. Oh, purpose-driven, passionate founders. Nice. World changers. If you weren't in marketing, what do you secretly think you would be doing? Yes, Lyra. I know what you would be. Be a musician. I can hear it.
Yeah, musician. Well, I was going to say spy, but no, I've decided to singer now. I'm watching Wicked, popular, maybe popular.
It'll be a duet with Lyra as well. Brilliant. One word people would use to describe you at work, and one word you hope they would use.
Irritatingly, people always say nice, which sounds so vanilla. I hope they'd use fun.
Nice is a good one though, because people always like the people they like. So that says a lot, Yeah, people never buy from people they do not like, isn't it? and people always remember how you make them feel. So nice is a good one. Yeah, but I get also where you're coming from with the fun. We can go and do karaoke, post it all over your socials. That will sort out.
I love it.
Love that. Okay, so now that everyone feels they know you a little bit better, let's land this plane with something practical for 2026, especially as you say, 2025 was a difficult year for a lot of founders. So let's look at our next session, which is going to be our one big change session and 3 tiny experiments that we want them to try. So on In My Kitchen, we talk a lot about one big change. One big change is actually a running theme around everything we do in Lockraise March. And we're always looking at just one thing. If we just did this one thing, it would move the needle. So if choosing one priority makes, what we've discovered, is that choosing one priority makes it easier to make other decisions. So like, for example, for me at the beginning of the year, I decided I'm going to give up drinking. Yeah, I'm going to take dry January. And that led to me running, right? So I didn't have to like kind of set that, oh, I'm going to eat better and then I'm going to exercise. It's just the one thing that kind of like reverberated. And for the schools that we work with, for example, I had a call last week with a head teacher, and we're like, oh, you know what? We make it easy for you to get help, and the way we do that is we make sure you get help quickly. And he was like, oh my god, you can help me with this and this and this and that. Hold on, let's just choose one. If you just chose one thing, what's the one thing that would move the needle the most for you? And he ended up choosing special education. So one thing helps them to prioritize. So what would you say for anybody doing marketing? What would their one big change be?
Make your decisions earlier. So be really, really clear. I'm being repetitive here on who you're talking to, why they care, and how you define success. That's it. Then marketing gets calmer, cheaper, and better.
So one, you can only do. Those are 3.
Clear on who you're talking to then.
Focus on your audience. That's what Sue says. Be clear on who you're talking to. So that's your one priority. Every time you're thinking about speaking to anybody in 2026, ask yourself that one question. Who is my one person? That's what Sue says. And in case of anything, just say Sue said. So for me, I would also echo Sue's one big change, which is stop trying to talk to everybody who you think, like I used to say this at the beginning, who are we serving? We're serving everyone. The people say, yeah, so just stop, don't say, yeah, stop it. Okay, so let's put together a quick kind of audit. Yeah. So one experiment or first experiment. So auditing your task would be the first experiment. What would you say for them for that first experiment? For the 3 tiny experiments, auditing your task. What would you say to anybody who's thinking about auditing in marketing?
I mean, again, it's sort of the same thing. If you're looking at auditing and marketing, it's like, what have you got? What activities going on? And again, who are they speaking to? Why? Because if you're talking for the sake of it, or are you talking to your customers? So what's the purpose of everything you're doing? Understand the purpose of that, and then it will make your life so much simpler. It really will.
Yeah. So look at your posts and do that. Yeah. So that's one thing. And then pick your place. What would you suggest? I know we've talked about this before as well. As a tiny experiment for them to try in terms of picking their place.
I think people get so bogged down on trying to talk to everyone, but you end up talking to no one. So think of one person you could talk to. Imagine they're almost like a friend. So we do customer personas, which are quite controversial in marketing. Some people hate them, some people love them. But try and imagine this persona of someone that you're talking to, and then have them in mind. So, for example, this is my friend Claire. She loves reading. She categorizes her books. She's obsessed with Facebook, but scared of TikTok. You know what I mean? Put that little bit of that personality behind them so it can feel like a real person. So then your decisions can be made with a person in mind.
Okay. So audit your post, find your person, name your person, make them your best friend, or how you would speak to your best friend, and then pick one place. And then the third one, which we could say rewrite their brief, right? So when they're hiring, if they're hiring, just rewrite your brief. Well, we talked about briefly about how to do that, and if you can remember, what does success look like? Just three, five responsibilities, and then are you going to have a budget, and then how do you hold them to what they're going to do? So their KPIs, their working hours, and things like that. Okay,
It's a
let's
similar thing as well. It's basically, it's not trying to be everything, and it's kind of run through this. So even with your job description, if you're trying to be absolutely everything, you'll get no one.
Yeah, or you just end up doing too many things, nothing getting done properly. Brilliant. So let's land this plane. Sadly, we've got to close and maybe just give everybody a place where they can go and find you, Sue. And if they're lucky, like us, they might actually get to find Lyra as well. So thank you for bringing your honesty. Thank you for bringing Lyra. Please do bring her again. And thank you for bringing these red flags that people need to be clear about and to know. What would you say to anybody watching? How can they work with you? Where can they find you?
Oh gosh, the best place I guess is on my LinkedIn. So my LinkedIn's always open there. And if anyone is struggling, I'm actually really happy to sort of DM, do a little bit of a kind of 5-minute try and do this, do that, because most of the time, as long as they don't mind a baby being along, I'm happy to give a couple of minutes of advice.
Yeah, and I have to say, actually, Sue did that for me last year, and really helped provide a lot of clarity. So we went and we did put together our calendar after that, and Sue did talk to us about the pillars, and we then put the pillars in place. It is really useful, and then after that, of course, Sue has just mentioned that she does work as a fractional marketer. So if today hit a nerve, that's okay. It just means there's something here where for you it's worth changing. So now your turn. In the comments, tell us one thing that you're going to shift with your marketing this year. We'd love to hear about it. Is it your key performance indicators? Is it your channels, your job brief, or very important, is it your boundaries? Because that in itself will produce results. And if this conversation has helped, do like this video, share it with others, and yes, do reach out to Sue. Sue has said she is very happy to talk to you. And from my kitchen to yours, remember, as Sue said right at the beginning of this journey, you don't need a massive audience. You just need a group of people that are engaged. You need a braver, kinder plan to you for your marketing and for humans that deliver it. I'm Yvonne, and this has been My Kitchen. So would you like to say bye before we...
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for having me. Do you want to say bye?
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.